Welcome back, everybody. Quick break. We've got two new people, like they teleported here. Why don't we have everyone introduce themselves? Jeff, why don't you go first?
I'm Jeff. I'm a firmware engineer at Sphero.
I'm Jim. I am also a firmware engineer here at Sphero.
Man, I think all of the couches so far have had first letter similarities so far.
We actually had about 5 Jims here together at one point.
Yeah.
You've been overtaken by Stevens, I think.
What a day! What a day to be alive. Anyway, now that we're here, you're talking a little bit more about the firmware aspect of it. So, for those of us who might not know what firmware is, can you describe like what your daily job is, like what you do every day, and how it affects this product?
Yeah, definitely. So firmware is sort of like the brains of the robot. So what we get from the phone or the Raspberry Pi is a simple instruction like, please drive forward at this speed in this direction. And we hide all of the nastiness underneath that makes that really happen, turning motors, reading sensors. We do a lot of lights and animations, animatronics, things like that.
Animatronics, that's awesome. Same thing for you, like in your day-to-day, what's your role here?
So I spend a lot of time working on communication protocols and working on communication to sensors and reading encoders. I really love working on control systems. That's like
why?
So that's it's
that's like not
nerd
something you hear
explosion
every day, right?
So control systems that when Jeff talks about the rover getting a command to drive forward, there's the front of the robot. So driving forward is one thing. Driving forward straight is another. And so we have encoders on the wheels to tell how fast they're turning. We have all kinds of other feedback that we have the gyroscope, we have the accelerometer. We can tell what orientation the robot is pointing in. And from the outside, you say, go forward at this heading. And the firmware in the control system is looking at exactly what needs to happen with the motors in order to make that happen. And that, to me, is really, really exciting stuff to work on because it gets into mechanics with dealing with friction in the system. It gets into electronics with, I have an electrical engineering background, and so this is when I get to be most electrical, doing control system stuff. I think it's the most fun thing almost in the world to do. So
cool. And I think what that really highlights is the fact that there are so many different aspects of this product that a lot of people get to work on. And if you're really into controls, you have a part in this project. You can create one for yourself with this product at home as well. And so I loved hearing about what you loved about control systems. What's your version of control systems for Jeff?
So on this product, it was definitely the color sensor. So I did some of that work for spectrums, and it was letting the color sensor see color the way we see color. So when we buy a sensor off the shelf, I mean, this is the same as the accelerometer or gyro. Mm-hmm. The sensors all see it slightly differently, and it's not really the way you'd intuit they would see it. And so a lot of what we get to do is do a whole bunch of crazy math and turn those sensors into something that is like real in your brain. And so Rover has this awesome downward-facing color sensor, mm-hmm. and it can identify colors from a palette you give it. So it can tell you the raw values, or it can say, hey, I saw red, do this thing. And you can program it to have a dance party or something when it sees red. What do we do when we see red? Freak out? Run away?
Run away.
Run away. Run away.
Run away.
Blue is dance party.
Blue is dance party?
Blue is dance party.
Who says that?
Sphero employees.
There it is. And so if, something we're asking a lot of the employees here at Sphero is how you came into your job before you got here. So Jeff, you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
And so just so everyone at home knows, I've been moderately involved in Sphero at times in my life, popped in and out. I like to say I look vaguely familiar to everyone here.
Yeah.
And Jeff, before you got to Sphero, what were you doing? And what was kind of the moment when you were like, you've been here for a while, so obviously you like it. And so it's like, what's keeping you here?
So I actually got into engineering because of music. So I have a degree in music and then a degree in engineering. And I was first learning about audio engineering and recording. I'm a musician. And I took this course in building speakers and had this just epiphany that somebody builds everything around us. I mean, all the things that are here, some dozens, scores of people are working on. And after that course, I immediately signed up at engineering. And when I found out that I might be able to work at Sphero making toys, helping people learn, it was just this explosion. And it's been really wonderful working here.
Super interesting. There's a lot of musical people here.
There are a lot of musical
Yeah.
people, a lot of musical people in engineering, and I mean that's part of why we're so excited about Spectrums, to have a real direct consumer-facing music product.
Yeah.
But it really shares a lot of the qualities with all of the work we do. It's creative, it's technical, it's craft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. We're going to be talking to the creators of Spectrums a little later today, Jenna
cool,
and
yeah.
Steven. So we're going to get a little demo on that. I'm going to nerd out about it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
there's
wonderful product.
so many applications there, particularly for early learners, which
Yeah.
I'm really excited about. And so we heard Jeff's story. Let's hear yours.
So I actually, when I was a kid, my dad's an electrical engineer. I was exposed to a lot of engineering ideas growing up, and I started getting excited about robots with the first generation Lego Mindstorms back in the 90s, and so like actually
Carries it with him
right
everywhere.
here. Not everywhere, but you know. So this was the brains of my very first robot that I ever built when I was 10, and
That's awesome, man.
and so I knew like I want to do stuff with robots, and after college I ended up teaching Lego robotics for a few years, and then eventually got a job working on robots in a tape storage company. Of all things, it sounds ancient, but it's actually still used in lots of places, like really high reliability kind of industrial grade robotics. And then when the opportunity came up to come to Sphero and work on educational robots, I mean, it kind of just hit everything, like my education background, my love of robotics, and yeah, I love doing that.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like both of you guys are very passionate about not just robotics, but other things too. And I think that really lends itself to the creativity that we've seen so far from everyone that we've talked to here from Sphero. And so I have just gotten an update on our nice special Kickstarter special. So remember, it is Pi Day, so everything was grounded in 3.14159, right? And that was the extra money that we wanted to do for our stretch goal. And just so you guys know, we've gotten $14,817 of that. There's only $16,598. I swear to you guys, I did that all in my head. I am not reading at all. So, and so please keep donating. Please back this Kickstarter. The product is really awesome. And so if you were going to be talking to people who, are hovering over the button, but feel, maybe not quite to commit to pressing it, what would you tell them right now?
I would tell you this is
Press the button.
press the button. I mean, this is as a person who actually buys this kind of thing, this is the best robotics platform I have seen in a long time. It is super easy to use right out of the gate. You can just say, please drive, and it just drives straight because of all the awesome work that the folks here have done. But it's also really just expansive. With the UART and the USB, you can do kind of anything. I mean, you can hook any computer to this thing and do something crazy in advance. I mean, we want to see the crazy stuff you did. And we can only do that if you click that button.
Well, and that's also something else. Sphero has such an amazing community. Right?
Yeah,
There's the Sphero Heroes for Sphero EDU, and just the community here at the office is so
and
great.
all the content in the EDU system, I mean, almost all of that was generated by users. I mean, just kick-ass people making amazing stuff.
Yeah, and the best part about it is you guys give them credit for it. Too,
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so when you guys come up with these solutions for Rover, please share them with us. We want to highlight your work because your work is why we do this. And so, what would you tell that person?
I mean, this is such a cool robot because you can start off and just out of the gate do cool stuff with it. You can use the EDU app just like with a Sphero Bolt or any of the other Sphero robots that we've put out that work with the EDU app. But then when you're ready to dive deeper, the depth, there's so much depth there. I'm really excited about it personally, about doing all kinds of cool integrations with it. I'm just getting into Raspberry Pi. I've never done anything with that before, and that's a whole cool world that I've never even explored before, that can do things that a lot of the like pure microcontroller based firmware platforms that I'm used to can't do because they're not a full computer. And then going totally retro, I have.
I love props, by the way.
Yeah.
They make it interesting.
And this is more than a prop. So I have a Teensy LC on here. That's a little microcontroller board that's Arduino compatible. And I have an IR emitter and IR receiver on here. And then a UART output that is going to get plugged into Rover eventually. And my plan for global domination is to have the Teensy controlling the Rover and controlling a bunch of Lego stuff that's going to be connected to it.
That's awesome. You should see the crazy amount of stuff just people in the office have been using this for. I mean, this is a toy we want.
Yeah.
Well, actually, something that Lindsay brought up earlier today was a spa week, and
Yeah.
if we didn't go deep into that, that is not like Sphero going to a massage therapist and like pampering everything. Spa week is spa stands for something.
Yeah, it's the Sphero Product Accelerator.
Yep, and so it's kind of like an incubator
Yeah.
here in the office where a bunch of members of the team come up with product ideas, in which this was one of them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And so that just goes to show, again, like the creativity, don't kill it, right? Like if you have those ideas, show it off, because companies like Sphero exist. You guys aren't the only ones who do stuff like that, right? There's some other awesome opportunities out there when it comes to creating products like this, and Spa Week is such a cool way to support your staff in helping the company, but also helping them be themselves in their creation.
Yeah, there's so much focus on that here, and I mean, everybody participates. The participation, I think, at the last several was almost 90% of people. I mean, this is everybody in every job pitching totally awesome projects. Rover was one of those things.
You guys all get,
music
like-
ideas and toys and robots and
Yeah.
software and clothing, and it's incredible.
Well, you guys get teams too. Last year
We
was
are a
Game
lot
of Thrones.
competitive.
Was
Yeah,
Game
we
of
have
Thrones
Harry
this past
Potter.
year, and then
Yep.
Harry Potter. What
Yes.
houses are you in?
I was on.
I actually would be interested to hear what Harry Potter and Game of Thrones house you were in, because I wonder if that matches.
Game of
know what I
Thrones,
mean?
I was a Targaryen.
Okay, that makes sense.
And during Harry Potter, I was a Gryffindor. I was a Gryffindor.
That makes sense.
Yes, those are
go
pretty
together.
similar.
Yeah.
Lions and dragons.
Yeah, that's the same kind of person, I think.
Yeah.
So mine are dissimilar.
You were Slytherin, right?
I was Slytherin.
Yeah.
And then House Stark.
Interesting.
So yeah, you didn't expect that one.
No, not at all. Not at all. And so I'm gonna help out the Slytherins out there real quick, because not all Slytherins are bad,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. It's about ambition. It's about pushing to be the best
Yeah,
that
and
you can be.
Yep.
And we did win the House Cup. So
That's true. Targaryen took it next year, though. So just saying.
Yeah, and if this isn't a great example of the camaraderie that you see here at Sphero, I don't know what could be. Some healthy competition is nice. It just makes
Yeah.
everything a little better. If anyone's wondering, and if anyone cares, I'm a Hufflepuff.
Ah.
Yeah, I majored in the tuba, the Hufflepuff of instruments, and so now that we're going to be closing out this interview right now, and remember, if you want to find information, there are links going to be provided on the stream for the Kickstarter. We don't have that much. Actually, there's not much left in terms of the stretch goal, and
Yeah.
if you get the stretch goal, everyone is going to get some purple treads, and that's gonna be awesome. Customization's always a good thing, but for now, we're going to take a little quick break, and we'll be back soon.